Hello, everyone. Welcome to the annual Doctoral Research Poster Session. My name is Dr. Lindon Forde, and the title of my dissertation is The Need for a Crisis Emergency Plan in Churches from a Clergy and Congregation Perspective. Program of Study, Doctor of Philosophy in Organizational Development and Leadership. I am a ninth grade social studies teacher at the Dr. Martin Luther King High School. As a student, I have been fortunate to experience many different educational institutions and approaches to higher education. This has provided me with a comprehensive view of how to help students succeed in any setting. As a side note, I obtained many of my degrees as a working professional, so I understand the unique challenges of being an adult learner. Statement of problem within this study shows that having a crisis emergency plan within many shopping venues, airports, and schools for staff safety, while many churches are yet to adopt these fundamental procedures for the safety of its members. Without a crisis emergency plan in churches, they will have a potential to lose members and become obsolete once their congregation feels that it is unsafe to attend their place of worship. The specific problem, however, is a decline in church membership, less financial giving, which can result in economic challenges for ministries. Purpose of study. This exploratory case study was conducted to understand the safety concerns of church members and to gain a consensus opinion from church leaders on the implementation of a crisis emergency plan within the African Methodist Episcopal Church and other churches against bomb threats, active shooter, or fire within the church. This study consists of two research questions. Research question 1, under what condition will leaders establish a crisis emergency plan within worship places that will prepare their congregation for an active shooter, bomb threat, or fire emergency? Research question 2, to what extent will collecting and analyzing multiple data sources of past and present cases of different types of natural and human emergencies within the United States cause church leaders to implement a crisis emergency plan? Within this study, there were 3 theories: the domino theory, the Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, and the political theory was all discussed. The domino theory: whenever a dangerous act is detected, domino theory suggests that it must be stopped. And in doing so, the domino effect action can also be stopped. Addressing the aspect of safety and security that reduces potential risk of an active shooter. Once the domino that represents the fear of an active shooter has been addressed and controlled, the potential danger of chaos will be eradicated. Maslow hierarchy of needs theory suggested that people are motivated to fulfill their basic needs before moving to meet their more complex needs, which are at the top of the pyramid. According to Maslow, if someone does not feel safe in an environment, they will seek to find safety first before attempting to belong, suggesting that if there is threat to an individual's security, they will seek protection before trying to be a part of anything. And lastly, the political theory suggests using the necessary wiring of the brain, organizing the body's natural ability to heal itself and take control of our lives, to which stress and trauma get treated by challenging the fight and flight anxiety into activity. Here is a demographic of the participants. We have Participants professional type, licensed minister at Turner Chapel. Participant 1 was a youth pastor, 25 to 30 years, a member of the church. Participants 4 was a local elder, 10 to 15 years within the church. Laypersons consist of participants 2, church administrator, 25 to 30 years of church service. Participant 3, executive assistant to the senior pastor, 25 years. Participants 5, design engineer for Wood PLC Corporation, 20 to 25 years. And participant 6, a bank regulator and supervisor, 25 to 30 years. Findings number 1, armed security. All participants pointed to this implementation of an armed security that caused them to feel safe. Implementing armed security within churches allow church leaders to become proactively ready to handle any emergencies that may arise within the walls of the church. Findings number 2, the importance of leaders receiving training from sheriff department. Actively training leaders to conduct crisis emergency plan drills and practice emergency exit protocols during worship service is necessary to ensure that everyone is well prepared in an emergency. Findings number 3, feeling safe contribute to financial giving. Feeling safe was the main priority for each participant, and their financial contribution followed. Participants confirmed that having security in place whenever they come to worship added to their commitment to financially support their church. Findings 4, advantage of implementing a crisis emergency plan. Each participant revealed how important it is for churches to implement a crisis emergency plan. Each of them shared advantage that add to the findings of Brown, Samuel, and Smith, that by having a crisis emergency plan procedures will reduce safety risks and anxiety and produce a developing ability to know confidently what to do in an emergency. Findings number 5, disadvantage in implementing a crisis emergency plan. The disadvantage of churches not implementing a crisis emergency plan for their members' safety and security in this current era proves to be one of the reasons for a decline in church membership. Participants share their thoughts and some of the dangerous loopholes that develop within churches. These thoughts stems from lack of doors being secured, ineffective security measures, and not patrolling the lobbies and parking lot during service times. Limitation of study. The study and its data was solely confined to Turner Chapel AME Church community members and their perception of implementing a crisis emergency plan. Participants' experience in this study could have been biased to create barriers based on the horrific experience of an active shooter in South Carolina upon an AME Church congregation. Different denominational organizations that have not experienced loss of life from an active shooter may not feel the same urgency to implement a crisis emergency plan. Recommendation of study. It is recommended that further studies seek denomination with greater and more diversity group size. Many other religious organizations do not share the historical struggle of the African Methodist Episcopal Church organization and what they have experienced. Additionally, there are other churches, denominations that an active shooter has never attacked. Therefore, these churches and their members may never experience safety issues and therefore never fall into the category of a domino, Maslow, and political theory pathway. Thank you. I have come to the end of my presentation, and I hope that you find it insightful, and you can always reach me at my email, lindonforward@yahoo.com.